let's talk about Homestead. So this is a tough one for you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it's not a very comfortable conversation for me either, because I had been vocal critic of NASCAR's for quite some time, for the probably the past decade, maybe a little longer, around the questionable cautions and that they had been throwing over the years. And
Now I got to interrupt you. Even though they mostly helped you, is that?
Does that really
I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. No,
They might have.
I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you. I probably shouldn't have said that.
No, it's fine. Say whatever you want. I even if they did, I probably didn't see them that way. But
None of us did.
I know. I remember, for whatever reason, I'm watching you race and you're leading. You're leading the race and you got a clear, comfortable lead, and the laps are clicking away. And then I'm not in the race, and my memory's a little fuzzy on exactly everything going on, but for whatever reason, I'm not out there. And I just remember this. I'm in my bus, I believe, and I remember the sound of the cars slowing down. And I thought, there's a yellow.
Man.
And I look out the window, and here comes this car down across the apron with a flat tire. And I thought, I can't believe they threw a yellow. That's Carl's championship. He's trying to win a championship here, and had it. And they threw the yellow. And then from that moment forward, I mean, it was just chaos. And the next thing I know, I look out the window of the bus, and Jimmy Johnson's going into turn 3 with the lead on the final lap. And I thought, Jimmy Johnson's going to win 7 championships and tie my dad and Richard Petty. There was just a lot going on that night. But I don't know that I would believe you if you said that didn't have some adverse effect on you. You had raced your whole life trusting that the green flag would drop and the checkered flag would end it, and that there would be nothing in between that wasn't pure.
Yeah.
And between the tie with Tony, there was no shenanigans going on there, but between how difficult that must have been to sort of get past, right? This questionable yellow, you had given everything you had to the sport. You'd been a good shepherd. You'd been a outstanding citizen in the industry. You'd done everything right. I felt like I was sitting there watching this break you entirely. The way that, that's the wreck that you had into turn 1 was vicious. I don't know of another crash that I've seen you go through that was more vicious. Just a bam, 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 a bang, 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 and the way you reacted when you got out of the car, I saw in you, your reaction to go to the pit box and say whatever you said, hey, go win the championship or whatever it was. Just the way you instantly reacted, it was almost like you didn't know what to do with yourself. You were so dumbfounded by just what had transpired in the past 30 minutes that you didn't know what was the best thing to do in that moment. I still today don't know that I'll ever experience watching somebody go through something, and I felt like it took all the passion that you had for this away. And I wonder if you feel that same way. That I know you can gain it back, and I know you're coming back. You're gonna broadcast. You want to reconnect with the sport. You felt like you walked away from it. You felt like you turned your back on it. That's what you said. But I mean, dude, you had every right if that's what you did. Because I felt like that you didn't deserve that, and I don't know how that I don't know how that must have felt for you.
All right, man, you teed that one up. So what I'm sitting here thinking about, my hands are sweating when you're saying all this because I don't know how honest I want to be about all this, but I think I'm just going to tell you how it is. So there's a couple things here, and they're really big deals to me to say. So first of all, I don't deserve anything. And I've learned this, that, we were at church the other day, and anybody who knows me well knows I'm historically an atheist at best. But I've come to realize at 45 years old that if I try to write down a list of all the things that God didn't give me, that I did myself, there's an empty sheet of paper in front of me. So when I start there and I say, hey, then it's just a gift. And what do you do with a gift? If I send you a gift, your only job to do is enjoy it. And so for me, I was wrestling with some things like this at the time. I was seeing them. I was living them right there. I was living that it wasn't my plan. It wasn't what you just described. It wasn't that I worked so hard my whole life and I deserved to win this thing and it was taken away from me. What I realized is that there was a bigger plan than mine, and that all that stuff played out just perfectly, and I was just along for the ride. And so when I got out of that car, I was feeling something that was a lot bigger than me, and I wasn't sure how to deal with it, but it was the strangest feeling, Dale. I knew that whole weekend, and I was not a believer at that time, but I knew that whole weekend. My wife will tell you, there were so many crazy things that happened. My motorhome broke down at least once or twice on the way to the racetrack. I didn't have a motorhome. Had all sorts of issues going on at home that were very strange. Danica and I almost wrecked in practice. We had the fastest car, and it was this crazy thing. In the middle of the race, either we had a bad pit stop towards the end, or I screwed something up, and I came out and I almost gave up. I remember pulling out, weaving behind the pace car, thinking, I did it. I gave up everything I ever worked for. I'll never forget Dave Rogers coming on the radio and saying, we got them right where we want them. And we went and we passed every single one of the guys I had to beat. And there was something about that caution. It was like the final thing to say, damn it, you're not supposed to win this thing. This is not supposed to happen. And I know NASCAR was throwing those cautions to make it more exciting. That's a fact. And I specifically talked to people about it. And that's that. And we're all in this sport to entertain. And they were trying their hardest at the time. But my point in saying all of that is that it was an outstanding set of circumstances. It was very odd, but now I realize it was the best thing in the world, for me. And I was able to get the message that I did not belong in a race car. That's not what I was supposed to be doing with my life. And looking back, I'm so thankful for it. I mean, it changed my life at that moment in a way that I could never have understood how great it was. So I know that's a roundabout answer, and it might be too much to swallow, but that's the way I see it. So
yeah, I think it's just I find it just hard to believe.
Which part's hard to believe? Sorry.
So you didn't have a choice but to experience it. It's what happened.
Yep.
In the moment.
Yeah.
And I could understand, and anyone could understand how that would break your spirit.
Yeah.
If we're just talking about your passion and love for racing, and
right.
I would give you that. I would say, hey, okay. Yes, be a broken man for a while.
Yep.
But to think I don't belong in a race car anymore, or my life isn't, I'm ready to put this part of my life away.
Yep.
I just...
Let me bridge the gap for you. Okay. So you're exactly right. I wanted to win that championship. It's everything. I mean, it's everything I'd worked for. That's it. That's the prize you want more than anything in the world. And yes, I believe that was snatched. Okay. So that's part of it. Yes. And that was very difficult. Okay. So I had to look and say, okay, let's just go to the next year. Let's go to 2017.
Right.
Let me just be real smart. Let me just think this through. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and I am going to continue. I'm going to put everything in my life second in the back seat. And I'm going to go starting at Daytona, and I'm going to drive the hell out of this race car like I've been doing for 13, 14 years. And I'm going to run this thing all the way to the end and give everything I got, another year of my life, and all the stuff that the head injury stuff started to really be a factor for me, because I didn't think about that. And now I'm like, man, I'm not just giving up my time now. There's all sorts of things that I might be giving up in the future. And then I'm going to get to Homestead at the end of 2017. I'm going to do everything just right, and they're going to throw a caution with 5 to go, and we're going to put all this on a restart. And I thought, damn, I don't know if spending a whole year of my life and all the things you give up and possibly give up for, one restart, like, I don't know, that's part. Yes, that's a big deal. You have to weigh that. And so, yeah, I guess, really disappointing, but it actually helped me to say, hey, this is the reality. This is how it could go. And is it worth it to you?